In this video, I want to explain why I decided to build the Kanga Transmatch. It wasn't just because I needed a small ATU for my QRP operation. There was another reason as well, perhaps equally important. Physically, it's a great companion for the QMX, as you can see. Almost the same size, actually a bit smaller. But you see, I have a problem. I suffer with an eye condition called CSR. I've had it for many years, but it's gradually got worse over the last few years. It means to say that I'm losing the central part of my vision. It's not as bad as macular degeneration, but it has the same basic effect if you're working on small things like circuit boards. In fact, I can't really solder now because I really can't guarantee I'm going to hit the right spot with the soldering iron. But I did publish a video 2 or 3 weeks ago now about trying to cope with low vision when you want to build things and do some basic soldering. And I got to think, well, actually, when I tried this system, which I sort of cobbled together, you'll see it on the screen now, that I thought, well, I don't know, I can now solder plugs on. I wonder if I can tackle a kit. And so I looked at the Kanga range of kits and I found that they do a transmatch, a little QRP transmatch, which is rated at, I think it's rated at 10 watts maximum. And I thought, gosh, this little transmatch will actually be a good physical companion for my QMX transceiver. So I thought, well, I wonder if I could build one using the method that I just referred to in the previous video. It would be great if I could build the kit. I thought it was a bit of a challenge. So anyway, I decided I'd go in at the deep end, order one from Kanga, I paid for it, and see if I could actually build one. Well, I have built one, and it works quite well. But by the way, reading glasses, they're not really powerful enough, and you tend to have to work very close, but they're just not powerful enough. Magnifying glass, well, it works, but you have to have the magnifying glass so close to the item you're working on, you can't get the soldering iron in. There's not enough room between the magnifying glass and what you're looking at. But what does work well is an iPhone or a smartphone or an electronic pad like the iPad. They both work extremely well, and you can adjust them to whatever height you like. They'll still remain in focus. The kit arrived well packed and in a sealed plastic bag. The kit comprises everything you need. You've got the plastic case there. You've got the variable capacitors, some resistors, a pair of BNC connectors, the wire for winding the ferrite core, some sundry fittings there, screws, and a nicely printed front plate. For a moment I wondered where the circuit board was, but then turned it over and there was a circuit board packed in the same pack behind the front panel. Now the circuit is quite interesting. It doesn't use a pi network, it doesn't use a T match, and it doesn't use an L match. It uses a more traditional, what is widely known or was widely known, a Z match or transmatch. It uses inductive coupling. It's quite interesting actually. Let me show you the circuit. In simple terms, VC1, which is 2-bank capacitor, is a coupling capacitor which mainly deals with reactance. A VC2, again 2-gang capacitor, that brings the circuit to resonance, and then you've got a coupling link which then feeds the output to your antenna. Interestingly enough, you've also got the facility for balanced or unbalanced. Another interesting feature of this tuner is that it's got a 2-position switch on the front panel. One is for tune and the other one is to operate. And when you're in the tune position, you are actually feeding your power into effectively what is rather like a dummy load. So at no time are you going to be adjusting your ATU into a high VSWR. Let me just show you the circuit and then I think you get the idea of how it works. The tuning system relies on a balanced bridge circuit which requires 4 resistors. 3 resistors are in the circuit, R1, 2 and 3, which are 51 ohm resistors. And the fourth resistor is effectively the antenna tuner itself. When the antenna matching unit achieves a perfect match, it also appears as a 51 ohm resistor, and the LED indicator light is extinguished. I'll explain how that works in a minute. The unit is rated at 10 watts, it covers 80 through to 10 metres, although I did actually find I could make it work on 6 metres as well. I suppose the most complicated part of the construction is actually winding the ferrite coil, but that's quite easy, and certainly with my magnifying arrangement it wasn't a problem. And I'll show you here the finished item that I made. I was quite pleased with it actually. I did wonder when I began whether I was going to manage it, but in actual fact it was quite easy. Once you've got a big picture on the phone or on an iPad, it's no real problem. If you're wondering how you connect up to balance line, well, here's the answer. One of these little BNC to twin terminal adapters will do the job just fine. Let me show you how it works. If I press this button here, we're transmitting about 2 watts. You see the LED lit on the ATU. We adjust the tuning control until we see a dip. You see the light goes out there. That indicates approximately where the best match is. If I adjust the coupling capacitor on the left too much one way, you get a very broad tuning spot. I find that adjusting the coupling coil, usually clockwise, gives me a very precise dip. And you'll see there we've got, what is it, 1.2 to 1 on the meter. Then finally you just switch the switch over to operate, and you can just tweak the VSWR a bit more, and as you see there we've got 1.1 to 1. I mean, you can't wish for better than that. It works extremely well. So the little Transmatch works extremely well. It's ideal for QRP operation. It'll work particularly well with the QMX because it's very small size. There is another version which is in a slightly larger cabinet, which probably makes construction a bit easier. But either way, the way that it works is quite good, and it's handy that you've got this LED indication. And that LED indication gives you approximate settings. It may not be the perfect setting, but it's the setting that will put you very close to the optimum setting. And once you've adjusted the ATU and the tune position, just flick it to operate, and then just tweak the controls a bit to get an even lower VSWR. But I think it's a handy item, and also it's also nice that you're not going to shoot your transceiver into a high VSWR, because that bridge circuit in the tune position is across the input, and therefore it gives you a sort of a safety factor, if you like. But there we are. And of course it proved to me that with the facility of having good magnification on a smartphone or an iPad or something like that, that home construction soldering is possible even if you've got some quite serious eye defects. So if you've been struggling and thinking, well, I can't even solder a plug on there because I can't really see it properly, give that method that I mentioned in a previous video a go, and you may well find that you can solder a plug on. And I'll put a link to that video below this video. In the meantime, thanks for your support on the channel, much appreciated. Don't forget that Waters and Stanton, we've got a wide range of products. Don't forget Yaesu have got their cash back on now. We do some great part exchange deals as well. And if you're near us in Milton Keynes, call in and have a look round. Otherwise, you can always pick up the phone, or you can order online via our website. The choice is yours. In the meantime, thanks for your support once again. You take care. Look forward to seeing you, as usual, in the next video. By the way, don't forget to press the subscribe button as well.